Hey there, professor, look what I brought. Now tell me what's my rock.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What's My Rock, the show where real people bring in their real rocks and I try to identify them. I'm your geology professor, Dr. Abstract, and I'm here with my new friends Ray and Kareem. And gentlemen, where do you guys live?
I live in Harupa Valley.
Harupa Valley?
Mm-hmm.
I live in Daggett.
In Daggett?
Yeah.
Where's Daggett?
It's right outside of Barstow.
Right, okay, got it. So Harupa Valley, oh, that's not in the desert, that's kind of
No,
the
that's
riverside.
right by Riverside.
Just west of here, that's
Yep.
right. And you're out in the desert.
Yes.
Yes, okay, very good.
But we're best friends.
Great, awesome, great. And what do you guys do for a living, Ray?
I'm retired from civil service.
Civil service? Okay.
I worked for Department of Defense for 37 years, and I retired.
Okay, great. What did you defend?
I worked in the transportation division.
Okay, all right.
So I moved troops all over wherever they needed to go, whether it was to go to war or just to move from one post to the other post. I was there with them.
All right. What was your best place that you were stationed?
In Fairbanks, Alaska.
Fairbanks, Alaska. Okay, all right.
I spent 34 years there, so I loved it.
Kareem, how about you? What do you do?
I'm a rock hound.
A rock hound. Okay, great. Awesome.
I have my own business selling honey, though.
Selling honey.
Honey.
Awesome. And out in Daggett, you have a honey farm, basically.
No, the honey comes from the farms in Mexico and in Brazil.
Oh, okay. So you import. You're an importer.
Yeah.
You're a honey importer.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask what the brand is? I mean, you can tell people.
Cobb Meadows Honey Company.
Maybe I'll ask you about beekeeping because I'm of a certain age where I'm thinking about beekeeping, and that sounds fun because just.
Okay, I know a place where you can buy the whole hive.
Okay, great, awesome.
Okay.
That sounds awesome. And so you guys rock hound together, right? You guys are rock hound.
Sometimes yes, and sometimes we do it apart.
Okay.
Both.
All right.
We do both.
All right. How long have you guys been rock hounding?
At least almost 4 years.
4 years.
I'm about the same.
Okay.
After I retired and moved down here, that's when I really started doing it a lot.
Gotcha. Have either of you taken a geology class ever?
Nope.
No. Okay, that's
We
fine.
need to.
You don't have to.
Yes.
You really don't have to. I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
I want to now.
You want to?
Yeah.
now? Okay.
This is interesting.
Well, rocks are fun,
Yes.
And once you start, tuning your eye to it, especially out in the Mojave Desert, it's a rock hounding paradise out there, as you
for
know.
sure.
Yes.
What do you got for us today here?
Well, we've been going out there for a long, long time. You're talking about the desert out there. We prefer the high desert, and we stumbled upon something.
Okay.
So we don't really know what it is, but we have found it, and we brought a piece to show you. We've been to many different people to find out. I've been to another university. I've been to any number of rock shows showing people that have been in the rock business, the lapidary. I'm a lapidariist. So,
Okay.
And a lot of lapidarists. Any of those people that should know what it is. I even went to a gentleman who was a teacher at the GIA, and he said he had never seen it before. I've been told that it was a feldspar. I've been told that it was quartzite. I've been told that it's got small garnets in there. I've been told that it's just any number of things they told me that's in there.
Okay.
It's been looked at many, many times by many people, and nobody can actually tell me what it is.
I'm surprised because this to me looks like a quartzo-feldspathic gneiss.
Okay.
Can I see that one, please?
This one?
Yeah, I'll just send them all over.
Send them
here.
all over. Okay.
It's a beautiful rock, by the way.
Gorgeous.
This would make an awesome countertop.
Oh yeah.
It's got the pink bands in it.
It goes from pink to orange. We found it
yeah.
all the way from pink to orange.
It's a little unusual to see a gneiss like this around here. May I ask where you found it? You can give me as
The high desert.
High desert.
Yeah,
but
and it's probably 2 miles from any road.
Okay.
And then it's only a stretch of about 2 miles by 2 miles that we find it. It's not a very big area.
Okay.
And we'll find it, and then we'll get it all, and all of a sudden it'll be gone. And then until it rains, after it rains, you go back out and it's there again.
My first question is, can we find this location on a geologic map? Have you done that yet?
The general area, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The exact area, no, we haven't.
So that's the first thing that I'd like to do is if we could do that. Is that
we don't want to show you where it's exactly.
Well,
at.
that's what I'm getting at. I some people don't want to.
Right.
Especially on the video where
correct.
Where
we don't want everybody and their brother to know where it's at and go get it.
Right.
We have a monopoly on it as of right now.
Our show's not that big, but
it's a good show. I like it.
But rockhounds do watch. So
yes, they do.
Let's press pause on the video and then let's look at where it is and then let's see if we can figure out a way that's a public way to show it. Is that cool?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to, huh?
No.
We haven't showed anybody where it's at. We haven't showed one
all right.
person.
Tell you what, let's not even worry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I don't want you to give away your area.
It's not like, it's kind of secret.
Well, it's not secret to the geologist that mapped it. You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
true.
So that's the thing. So
That's
it would be nice to know. So out there, when you get out there, the geology becomes what we call basin and range. So there's these the crust is being pulled apart, and it's just mountain range and valley and mountain range and valley. And so
This is valley.
this is in a valley. Okay, so the crust that's being pulled apart tends to have a lot of metamorphic rocks in it, which
Okay.
is what this is. This is a metamorphic rock.
Okay.
It tends to be pretty old stuff.
Okay.
I don't know how old this is. This could be. I have never seen it, but I know there's some Precambrian stuff out there. I kind of wonder if that's what this might be. Some really old, what we call cratonal rocks, which are very old crusts.
Okay.
It could be part of what we call a metamorphic core complex, which is when these valleys are formed when the crust pulls apart, and that pulling apart will reveal rocks underneath. So like, I'll show you
gotcha.
like this.
That makes sense.
So the rock pulls apart. Here's my paper towel. This is your rock.
Mm-hmm.
And the rocks will spread apart and they'll reveal the basement
Opens the
rock,
valley,
which
sure.
is called a metamorphic core complex.
Basement rock. That's a good name for
So
it.
that could be what we're dealing with here, without any additional information. That's just me just.
So is it meta-sedimentary rock? Is that possible? That's what we were told from one person.
Well, okay. So let's look at in detail at the minerals of the thing.
Okay.
Get out my trusty hand lens
Yeah,
here.
you're
Now I
eyes.
noticed that when I looked at this, there's some sparkles in there.
Yes.
Right? And those are
It has a crust. Some of them have a crust. This
Okay.
is a good example of one right here. It has a
right. So
shiny crust.
what do you think the shiny stuff is?
I think it's mica, the shiny stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically muscovite mica, and that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Muscovite
Not
mica.
all pieces have that on, but some do.
Sure. Well, it's in layers. It's only
Right.
it's only in some layers of this,
Right.
or technically we call them bands.
Okay.
This is a banded gneiss.
We call them stripes.
Okay. Stripes is good. I'll say stripes.
Yep.
So some of the stripes are going to have more mica in them than
Okay.
other stripes. This stripe right here looks to me like is potassium feldspar, like orthoclase.
The color?
The pink stuff
Okay.
is usually in this kind of a rock going to be a potassium feldspar,
Okay.
which is going to be orthoclase, microcline. Have you heard these words
I
before?
have.
Okay, so one of those, and that's what it looks like.
Well, it seems like it has quite a bit of quartz in it to me.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of quartz in it. All this gray stuff.
Mhm.
The gray stuff is all quartz.
And
So
it
this
was-
is a very quartz-rich rock.
It tested out at a Mohs of 7, so when I figured that's from the quartz.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very quartz-rich rock. Back to your question, metasedimentary rock. I would tend to agree with that, and the reason for that is because metamorphic rocks, these metamorphic gneisses, when they have muscovite mica in them, that muscovite is rich in aluminum, and aluminum in the general model of metamorphic rocks, if you have an aluminum-rich gneiss, those rocks formed from metamorphism of sedimentary rocks, and
Okay.
specifically, it started as clay minerals.
Okay. Not
And
sand, it started as clay.
Well, some sediment that contained clay. It could have been
Okay.
a clay-rich sand. It could have been a sandy clay.
Okay.
It's just a
Either way.
sediment
Okay.
that has some clay in it. Right? Okay.
All right.
And so that's what. So muscovite mica has a formula: potassium and aluminum, silicon, oxygen,
Okay.
and those elements in there. So that aluminum in the clays, when it goes through intense pressure and temperature, will recrystallize into muscovite mica. This potassium feldspar, which is probably what this is, potassium can either come from the sediments, or this could have been metamorphosed from just a regular old granite as well. So this could have been a granite formed from melting of sedimentary rocks that then got metamorphosed. What happens is you get a rock that has, let's say a granite that has a lot of quartz and potassium feldspar. You put it under intense pressure and temperature, those minerals are going to actually move around. I mean, we got to give it like 1 billion years.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay?
Right. Didn't happen yesterday.
That's right. So let's take in fact, do we have I bet you in here, Dylan, do we have a nice granite in here? Like
yeah, not a.
here.
Like up in the top of the mountain when you drive up to Big Bear or
There's
somewhere.
a drawer. Look at this. Look at this right
Oh,
there.
there we go.
Okay,
There we
boom. Okay. That was easy.
That was real easy.
So that's a technically it's a pegmatite.
Chunk of granite,
That's
pegmatite,
a chunk of a granitic material that has pink potassium feldspars,
which is
and it
essentially that.
has a lot of quartz in it. It has a little more albite, which is the white stuff.
Okay.
Sodic But so what happens? We take this rock and you compress it. And what'll happen is that if you compress it at high temperatures, deep in the earth, deep in the crust, what's going to happen is all the minerals are going to start to migrate to form layers with their friends, basically. Okay.
Gotcha.
And I think that's usually what happens in these gneisses.
The thing is, though, with this one is it looks like it's all just, there's no pattern to it at all.
Correct.
Whereas this one has the pattern going with it, makes it so different.
That's correct. That's because this is an igneous rock, and it just formed from a blobby magma chamber.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't under any kind of a pressure that caused it to form any bands.
Oh, gotcha.
This one took this and recrystallized it and formed bands because it's been being pressurized like that.
So then it became crystalline. Or
Well,
is that one crystalline?
This is crystalline.
That's
this is all
crystalline,
crystals, and this is all crystals.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense because I do find similar stuff like this in the same area.
Yeah, I think this is much older though. I have a feeling, and you're not going to tell me, and that's fine. That's okay. I'll sleep tonight. I'll be okay.
Oh, good.
I think this is some of the super old stuff that's out there. This is like billion-year-old or 900 million year old basement
billion-year-old rock. Wow.
How do you find out how old it is?
You'd have to date it. You have to
carbon date that?
You have to not carbon date. Carbon dating. You can only carbon date things up to like 70,000 years.
Oh, okay.
To date something that's 1 billion years, you need to find zircons and use uranium lead dating. So that requires.
Who does that? Is there somebody that
there are
does that?
laboratories that do that,
Is there?
and you can actually pay for that. You
Okay.
can find a laboratory that'll do that.
That would be really cool to find out how old that is.
Might cost you about $1,000.
Okay. That's a little expensive.
Or you could just show me on the map where it is. I'll tell you how
And
it
then
is
you
for
can tell me,
free.
see, he's trying to make a wheel and deal here.
We could do that off camera if you want. I won't tell anyone where it is. But
Yeah, that's fine.
So now, so is it sedimentary though? So granites, this is where the rock cycle comes in, right?
Okay.
Because you can take a sedimentary unit and melt it into a granite.
Okay.
And you can take that sedimentary granite with muscovite in it, and you can recrystallize it into a gneiss,
Oh.
right? Or it could have been metamorphosed directly from a sedimentary rock.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
Who knows?
But this is a very long way of saying the person who said it's metasedimentary, I'm okay with that because it has muscovite mica in it.
There you go. So when you say gneiss, is that the rock that's spelled with a G?
Yes,
G-N-I?
it's
Okay.
pronounced in the German.
Okay.
E-I in German has the I sound.
Okay.
Nice.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. But
So I'm going to call this a gneiss. Now, someone might call it a quartzite. I see why they might do that. It has a lot of quartz in it. It also has some layering. Quartzite often has layering, but so does a gneiss. So, but the thing is, this gneiss has all the feldspars in it.
that's just a mixed up bunch of rocks in there, isn't it? A bunch of different minerals in there.
And I'm going to add a little bit too. So this rock that you gave me, it looks like it has some actual folding in it.
There's some that does. We get some of that.
So there's some folding in it. That's a metamorphic.
Okay.
Metamorphic texture, like right there, I can see a really beautiful fold in that rock. Right there.
It's not that common, but when you do find some, huh?
Yeah.
The ones with the folds, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're out there.
Yeah,
they're
there's
out
some.
there.
What would make the difference in some of them being light colored and some of them being dark colored?
Well, it just has to do with the randomness of the composition. Like, so for example, like this has this beautiful pink band in it, right?
But it's very dark. The rest of the stone's very dark.
Sure. So why is it pink here and why is it dark right there? That has to do with how much pink material there is in that region, right? So if there doesn't seem to be in whatever this part of the rock, there wasn't a lot of potassium feldspar material to make a thick band.
Okay.
Now take that concept on a whole outcrop, right? And so go, hundreds of meters on this however thick this formation is, and you're going to have all kinds of subtle heterogeneities,
Different colors.
different differences in local differences in composition, so that the minerals are going to form different layers. So that's
Makes
really
sense. Okay.
It's sort of, just think of it as sort of a randomness.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what would a good analogy be. You ever made cream cheese brownies?
Yes.
Okay, you take brownies, you put cream cheese on the top,
Gotta stir
then
it
you
through
swirl it around.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You never had cream cheese brownies?
No.
Oh, I have.
You should make you some cream cheese brownies. Okay. What's your triglyceride
They're
level?
good.
Are you all right? Because
Yeah, I'm good.
okay,
He's a
all right, then,
vegetarian,
all
so he's real good.
Okay, then he's good. Make
He's
him some
good.
cream cheese brownies with the swirl on top, or fudge ripple ice cream,
There you
right?
go.
Something like
That's a
that,
good one.
right?
Yeah.
Now, when they make the fudge ripple ice cream, if you were to take a slice of that and be like, how come there's this thick vanilla and there's this thin here and
Right.
there's a thick, and all of a sudden the chocolate gets thicker, right?
Same thing.
The answer is just, I don't know. It's just random because you stirred it up, right? So I think
That's random.
I would encourage you to think about the spacing of these things as just kind of, this is just how nature made it because of the local differences in the composition. I don't think it's telling us anything. There's nothing deep in the meaning of that.
Okay.
It's an expression of the bulk composition of the rock is really the best way to say that.
That makes sense.
Okay, so now let me just think a little bit more about this. So we've got, first of all, we've got some banding in here. There's some clear foliations to this rock. There's evidence for folding in this rock, and all those three things are metamorphic to me. The minerals in here are mostly quartz with little bands of potassium feldspar. There's probably other things in there, but those are the two main things that I see. So I'm calling this quartzo-feldspathic gneiss, something like that. It could be a sedimentary gneiss, which another word for that would be an orthogneiss. Is that right, Dylan? Would you search up orthogneiss and make sure I'm getting that right too? Because I don't want to say anything wrong on camera.
Oh no.
You
know how you guys are always exactly right, right?
We're not exactly right. See,
Nope.
We'll probably keep this in. I'm having Dylan search orthogneiss. Is that igneous or sedimentary gneiss?
According to the source of all knowledge,
It's igneous.
Wikipedia,
Yes.
orthogneiss designates a gneiss derived from an igneous
Okay,
rock.
so it's a paragneiss. Paragneiss is the sedimentary gneiss.
Paragneiss results from the metamorphism of sedimentary rocks.
Okay, got it. Okay,
There you go.
so I was wrong. So it's a paragneiss. So I take that back. It's a quartzo-feldspathic paragneiss. Is what I'm gonna.
Okay.
That has a lot of things in that name. That says
There is a lot.
It's got quartz and feldspar.
Yep.
It's a gneiss, and it has a sedimentary protolith. The protolith is the mother, the original rock before it was metamorphosed.
Okay.
This rock probably has 55% SiO2. Probably has.
Could you check it?
We should do at least one on this. Let's confirm we get a big potassium signal.
Okay. Because that's the one you thought you think the
Because
color
this
is
is
potassium.
the one is probably potassium feldspar, but the cleavage isn't obvious to me. Cleavage is how a mineral breaks.
Correct.
And potassium feldspar breaks along cleavage, and it's not obvious to me. It looks like it could be in there. It might be expressed by the microbands of quartz and feldspar, and that's fine. But I think getting a little potassium in an XRF would be a nice little
Cool.
thing that we could do.
Sure.
So why don't we do that? Before we do that, though, I'm going to have this device.
Uh-oh.
You ever seen one of these before? This is
Just
it's a radiation counter.
Oh.
Yeah, Geiger counter. The folks at Radiocode sent me one of these things
Oh,
because
nice.
people bring me all kinds of stuff, and I don't know what they're bringing me. And I was like, maybe I should make sure they're not radioactive.
There you go.
So now,
You test this one right here. I bet you'll find some.
I should. I wanted to ask you about that. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So our background radiation right there is 6.8 or whatever,
Yep,
6.9
6.8.
counts per second.
Okay.
And that's just the radiation that we are now receiving from the universe.
Okay. That's the natural one.
Being
Okay.
bombarded with neutrons, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this up against these rocks. Sometimes you can get some radioactive minerals that have uranium and thorium in them. And I'm not detecting any, unfortunately. That would be exciting.
Yeah.
And also, you might like to know if you have a radioactive rock.
That would be cool.
It's a dinosaur bone?
That's what dinosaur bone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that can often have uranium in it.
Yes, a lot.
Actually, it's going up a tiny bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
My hair gonna fall out?
Are you sure you want to carry that around your chest?
Is it that bad?
I mean, I am not a radiation medical professional.
Some stuff from
So I've
crematorium.
changed the unit to microsieverts, which is a dosage measurement. And this one's going up to, let's just hold it there for a second. That means it's reached a minimum amount. So I think you probably shouldn't wear this.
Okay.
If that's all right.
That's
All
fine.
right. All right.
This is one of the first wraps that I ever made, and that's the only reason I have even kept it.
Okay. So let's
Let's put it away right now.
tell you what. Let's put it right here. It's a small dose. It's
Yeah.
not like this
It's
is
not something
not
you wanna
this
wear
is
all
not
the time.
Chernobyl.
Right.
But tell you what we'll do. We'll put this over here, And I'm going to just do a measurement here.
Let it sit there.
Okay. This is microsieverts per hour.
Is that like the badge they wear when they go into somewhere that has a lot of radiation?
Now, again,
that's what it measures?
I want to specify, I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
I'm only a geologist.
Okay,
and
only a geologist.
This is just a measurement, so I'm not...
Gotcha.
Boy, this show is taking a turn.
Yeah, hasn't it, though? I love it.
Okay, so...
There's some variety.
It's showing about 0.4 microsieverts per hour. That's not a huge amount, I don't think. Don't take my word for it. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a medical professional.
I'll look it up.
And you can see that the background radiation
0
is much lower. It's about 0.04. So you're getting 10 times the background radiation from your dinosaur.
So there's definitely, it's in there. Okay.
Okay.
Good
So
to know.
now the
Where do I buy one of those?
Well, radio code. It's a radio code 103. They're based out of Cyprus.
Okay.
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 Said 0.4.
What's the limit?
According to
How much?
energy.gov, which I assume is the Department of Energy,
Yeah. The feds.
50 millisieverts per year.
50 millisieverts per year.
And I did the calculation. You said it was 0.4?
0.4 microsieverts. 0.4 microsieverts.
Oh, microsieverts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the limit? 50 millisieverts a year?
Per year, yeah.
So that's 50,000 microsieverts per year. I'm gonna round off
Do
just to
0.5,
make
it's
this
a
easy.
half.
So
Makes
make
it
it point
easy.
exactly 0.5
Absolutely.
0.5 microsieverts per hour, and let's call that 9,000 hours per year.
Okay.
So half of that is 4,500
right.
microsieverts, which is 4.5 millisieverts per year from this dinosaur thing,
Right.
Okay.
which is
And you're
roughly 1/10 of the annual
allowed to
limit that
have
the
it. Yeah.
feds
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yep. So we're good.
Are we good?
You're good. Because I don't wear it all the time anyway.
Okay, good. All right.
Confirm it with a radiologist.
I will.
Yeah.
I wear it to rock shows and things like that.
That's good. So I think you're probably good. But there you
Yep.
go. It's probably like
Well,
having
at least we know that.
a bunch of, I don't know how many is in a dental X-ray, but okay. Well, I'm glad that we did that little
Me
tangent.
too. That was kind of fun. Like I
Okay.
said, went off on a little angle there, but that's okay.
That's right.
One other thing, you were going to look at this one on your machine.
Yeah, we're gonna look at that on the machine. So let's take the XRF. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna press start,
Doesn't
and
take
let's
very
see what we
long, right?
get. Okay, 3% manganese, 2% iron. So far, that seems fine to me. So there's our potassium. That's not a lot of potassium. 662. That's parts per million. So that's 680 parts per million. So far, my idea about potassium is not correct.
Can people see this on the
Yeah,
video? Oh, cool.
they'll see us looking at a computer, and then they'll see this screen. It's going to be
That's good.
riveting. Now I'm wondering.
Oh, you're changing your mind?
Yeah, I'm changing my mind. That's right.
And you can do that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I remember I wasn't quite sure about the feldspar
Right.
identity.
Right.
So I'm wondering. Hang on, I'm having a
Your brain's working.
my brain's working here. Stand back. So there's 3.6% manganese in there. There's also some iron and some calcium. So an alternative hypothesis for what that could be is a kind of an obscure mineral that is pink, and it's called piemontite, which is a manganese epidote, and that I have seen out here in a place. Well, I'm not going to tell you.
I love it. Love it.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'll tell you off camera. I don't want to tell these people.
I understand.
But I'll tell you.
We
guys.
have the same thing.
So that could be a manganese-rich mineral. It's not even. I wouldn't say it's rich, but it has manganese.
It has some
in
manganese in
and
it.
It's a pink mineral. So that could be coloring the mineral. So I'm going to propose this. Let's see. We have a little bit of time. Dylan, you got a few minutes?
Yep.
You know where we're going, right?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
That's right. I think we're going to take this down to the scanning electron microscope.
Yes.
All right. Sound
That's
good?
what I wanted. Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So let's.
But remember also though that this band in here, it goes from pink to orange. Sometimes it's bright orange too.
Well,
I don't know if that would make a difference.
Well, but that is interesting because the piemontite exposures that I've seen around here can look a little pinky orangey.
Okay.
Okay,
cool.
so
Cool.
all right. So we're going to go to the SEM first. I'm going to get these samples cleaned up so we can put them in the instrument, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, now this is a close-up view
Oh,
of your rock. What I'm going to do here, so first of all, this is 300 microns. That's 0.3 millimeters.
Okay.
So this distance here, 1, 2, 3, this distance is about 1 millimeter. That's what we're seeing.
Small.
Close up. Yeah, real small.
Yeah.
First thing I want to do is get some compositional information on these things. So here's some nice, this is a line here, and that's a line there, and that's a line. I'm predicting this is going to be quartz.
Okay.
And that this is going to be the other stuff. So this is probably gray in the rock, and this is probably the pink stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to zoom in so we can get a better view. And what this does over here on this side is this is going to allow us to get the composition. So I'm going to press on that grain right there.
Pretty square.
And I'm going to go here. We're going to see what we get. Is the manganese in here? Look at that. There's our manganese.
That's it.
There's a pretty good amount of manganese in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the spectrum. There's a peak for manganese. There's a peak for calcium, peak for silicon and aluminum. So now the question is, what mineral contains calcium, manganese, aluminum, and silicon?
Got a guess?
Well, I think it's this, you guys got a phone on you? Why don't you look it up? Piemontite, P-I-E.
That's the one you were talking about.
M-O-N-T-I-T-E.
That's the one you were
We'll
talking
let you
about.
look that up, and I'm going to analyze a couple other things. Let's see if this stuff right here, right there, that dark stuff is quartz. So I'm going to click on that. So this is just SiO2. Look at that. There's even 1 unit of silicon and double the oxygen. So that is going to be, this stuff right here is going to be our quartz.
That is quartz. Okay.
So we've already figured that out. Okay.
That's the
So
dark stuff.
Piemontite, P-I-E. So it's got 2 calciums, more manganese and aluminum, and it's got our silicon in there.
So that's everything that's on there.
It's everything that's on there. So now the ratios aren't quite perfect, but this instrument isn't calibrated, but it's got calcium, manganese,
it's
aluminum,
fairly
and silicon.
close.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm happy with that being Piemontite. Okay. Which is interesting. So I was wrong about the potassium feldspar. All right. Now, let's cruise around a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else that's interesting in here. Yeah,
I think you pretty much got it. Yeah.
I think we got the answer.
That's the 2 main things that are in there.
Those are the 2 main things, and that's consistent with the XRF analysis. So I was trying to hold on to potassium feldspar, but I'm a dum-dum. And but you know what? I was going by color.
Absolutely.
And you should never do that, even if you're a professor.
Well, you know what's good? You're very much professional because you'll admit you're wrong. That's perfect. A lot of people won't do that.
I've been wrong so many times.
Oh yeah, me too.
This looks pretty flaky.
Yeah,
see
that
that
looks very flaky. Yes.
That looks like our mica. So let's go see.
Oh.
Let's go see if we can analyze that. And there's our mica. Let's put a little dot right there.
Yeah.
And let's go over here and see what we get. We're looking for potassium. Look at that. That right there is a composition of muscovite mica.
Is that mica?
Potassium, aluminum, silicon.
That's what you said it was.
So this is our muscovite mica, which we saw with our own eyes.
Yep.
And so there we go. Here, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's different.
Let's zoom into this right here.
I would call that pyrite if it wasn't magnified like that.
Right.
You know, if it was a regular stone. The squareness.
But you can really see some of the nice crystal shapes on here.
Yeah.
That almost looks like a garnet. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised for there to be garnet. It would be a manganese-bearing garnet called spessartine garnet.
Spessartine.
And so that's probably what we're going to see right here. That's definitely a garnet. That shape right there is a garnet. So that's probably spessartine garnet.
Okay.
And
that's not what's the regular garnet called? Like the jewelry garnet?
There is no regular garnet. There's many types of garnets, right? So there's spessartine just means it's a type of garnet that has manganese. So this right here, this is our garnet, and it has a composition: calcium, manganese, iron, aluminum, silicon. Now that composition is consistent also with the Piemontite, but I don't think the Piemontite had the iron in it. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good down here. I think we figured it out. So how's that? Everybody good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're back from the SEM, and that was interesting. I was totally wrong. How'd you like the SEM?
I love that thing. I'd like to have one. I spent hours on that.
$120,000.
That's
that
all it
can be
needs.
yours.
Yep. I'll take 2 or 3. Why not?
That's one of the cheaper ones.
Oh, wow.
So I was wrong about the potassium feldspar, and this is a good exercise because I did that from experience and mineral associations and color, really, which is a little embarrassing because I tell my students all the time, don't use color, and here I am using
And you
color,
did it.
and I was wrong, but that's what happens when you use color.
There you go.
You're wrong, and the XRF said there's no potassium, and I still kind of didn't believe it. I don't know why. I should have believed it. It said there was manganese, and so we went down, and sure enough, we found all these manganese minerals.
But both of them said the same thing.
That's correct. So it all came true. So I'm going to scratch what I said earlier. It's not a quartzo-feldspathic schist. The main minerals in the rock consist of quartz, muscovite mica, which we saw in the SEM, and there were two minerals that had manganese in it. So there's a garnet, and then there's a piemontite, which is in the epidote family.
Okay.
So we would call this a piemontite garnet schist, or a piemontite garnet gneiss, if you want to call it a gneiss. Okay. Some people might call it a schist because you can see those crystals of muscovite mica in there,
right?
And they're aligned, and they're not huge, but you can see them.
They're there.
So they're aligned, and some people, if you can see micas that are aligned, might want to call it a schist. And yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And so what is it? Where did it form? Well, I think it formed by metamorphism of some sort of deep sea sedimentary rock.
Deep sea?
And the reason is because of that manganese. Have you guys ever heard of manganese nodules?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so manganese nodules occur on the seafloor.
Right.
So seafloor sediments can be richer in manganese than terrestrial sediments, than continental sediments. And so I think I'd have to read the literature about these kinds of rocks to really understand them a little bit better. But it formed from seafloor sediments that contain a little bit of manganese, maybe some manganese nodules. Piemontite is a green schist grade mineral, so it was metamorphosed to what we call green schist conditions, which would be, say, 300 to 500 degrees Celsius, maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 kilobars, so that would be 30 kilometers in the earth, something like that. So deep crustal kind of material like that. So it's still a metamorphic rock. Still got a lot of quartz in it. There's no potassium feldspar, so there's no feldspar.
Right, there's no feldspar.
So I'm going to call this a piemontite mica schist, something like that.
I'm going to look that one
up. And I'm going to include the garnet. So a piemontite garnet mica schist.
Okay.
Here's a nice word. Because I can't use quartzo-feldspathic anymore, so I need another dirty word.
Okay.
This word is manganiferous, so call it a
manganiferous. That's a good one.
Manganese bearing. Manganiferous schist,
okay.
Or manganiferous gneiss.
Okay.
And that, by the way, this also explains why you mentioned it sometimes goes from pink to orange.
Uh-huh.
The piemontite is going to be pinker, and the spessartine garnets are going to be more orangey looking.
Okay.
And there you go. That's what you got.
Okay, cool.
So now that we know, I didn't tell you about this.
Hey, no, wait. Do you guys any more questions any more questions about this rock? Are you guys
No,
satisfied with that one?
No, this is still about this rock. So
okay,
anyway.
All right. So we got.
I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. Okay, so we got the big finale.
But one thing, this is yours already to come out.
Oh yeah, thank you.
One
That's
thing
right.
I'd like, you have a collection back here, I see, and I'd like you to pick one of those for you to put
that'd
in
be
your collection.
Very nice of
you.
How about that? Thank you.
You pick whichever one of those big ones you want.
I like this one right here.
How
It's
about
got
it?
the nice band in it.
How about it?
And
you can add it to your collection.
I can use this to tell students not to go by color.
Yep, there you go.
They'll say potassium feldspar. Thank you very much. Very
You're
nice
quite welcome. So we did have the GIA analyze it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know what they do. To me,
Never been there.
okay, well, to me, their job, what they do is they'll take, like, if you've got a diamond ring and you pay $10,000 for the diamond ring.
Yeah.
They'll take the ring and they analyze it and they tell you, well, yeah, this is really what it is. This is the clarity. This is the color.
Uh-huh.
They're not really designed for rocks like this.
Sure.
They more do the diamond types. But there's what they told us it was. So I just wanted you to see that. So you can see.
Okay, they say quartzite. Okay, fine. Banded gray and orange, and they call it a quartzite. The reason they're saying quartzite is because it's dominated by quartz.
Right.
The reason, and that's it's really more of a mineralogical term. When I say what I mean by that is they're seeing this rock has mostly quartz. They're recognizing that it's a medium high grade metamorphic rock comprising mostly quartz.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem calling it a quartzite.
Okay.
But I'm calling it a schist because to me there's more than just quartz. There's
all kinds of stuff in
there's
there.
a lot of there's banding that's in it.
Sure.
Of different there's compositional variations in it. There's mica that are aligned in it. So my preferred word for this would be a schist or a gneiss.
Okay.
I'm not offended if they call it a quartzite.
Okay. That's cool.
And they probably won't be offended if I call it
No,
a schist.
but I just
gneiss.
wanted you to see what they said. You know, they're
Yeah.
this what you did was more than what they did. And,
Well, they didn't. They just call it a quartzite, but they didn't. They
and
didn't
the
tell you
funny
what was in
thing,
it.
the funny thing about that, when you take it to them,
Uh-huh.
they ask you, well, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
And I told them quartzite.
Okay.
And I'll be darned if that's not what they come
Well,
out and said it was. So
well,
who
there you
knows? You
go.
know, I mean, cool.
Very good.
I think I'm happy. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Now we know what we got, and that's the important part.
Well, thanks for bringing the rock in.
You betcha.
You don't have a meteorite.
No, I don't have a meteorite. Nope. I'm so glad I don't have a meteorite. I don't think I want a meteorite.
That's right. But thanks. This is a fun little test.
We had a
of
fun time
our,
today. This has been great.
Our stuff. And where'd you put your radioactive necklace?
It's in my pocket.
Okay, it's in your pocket.
Now I'm getting the radiation.
Now you're getting the
Yeah,
radiation.
I'm pointing it over
Okay.
at him. No, just kidding.
All right. Well, thanks you guys for coming in. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you for having us. We find
and-
something else. We'll make an appointment, come back and see you again. This
Sure,
is fun.
that'd be great. All right, let's say goodbye to Ray and Kareem, and we'll do a wrap up. Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Bye.
you guys.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, it's time for the recap with Dylan. Well, what are your thoughts, Dylan?
I was wrong on my initial assessment. And I made the same mistake as you, looking at color.
Yep.
I did see the layering, and I was like, this is kind of like a metamorphic rock, I'm thinking. And I was thinking maybe quartzite and such, because I've seen the banded quartzites. And so I was thinking initially that, but doing the mineralogy and such, and then eventually looking at the chemistry.
Yep.
Oh, and what was the name of that? Was it Piedmontite or something?
Piemontite. It sounds like there's no D. Piemontite. Yeah.
Piedmontite. Okay.
Piemontite.
So I've done mineralogy, and I've been around minerals for a while. That's a new one for me.
Yeah. It was a new one for me until about 4 years ago when I learned of it in the field, going to a location around here where they have it. So it's in the epidote family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning that they're related to like kind of the green schist facies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming because it's an epidote. Epidote is classically associated with green schist facies metamorphism. That means that it metamorphoses between, say, 300 and 500 degrees C, and
Okay.
facies is just shorthand for temperature pressure range of equilibrium. So yeah, so I'm assuming that because it's in the epidote group, that all the epidote group minerals form in that same pressure temperature region that we call green schist facies. That might not be true, but I'm just sort of assuming that. Probably true.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it seemed like a pretty high-grade rock. It had some serious folding. It was very crystalline, serious recrystallization, very hard. So maybe Piemontite occurs at a higher temperature than I realized. That's fine.
Yeah, so we in the SEM we saw that, and then we saw was it garnet, and then we saw quartz. Was it
Quartz,
so
muscovite, mica.
Good mix of minerals there.
Yeah, it's a strange composition to have all that manganese in there, and I think the only way you get that is some sort of a seafloor, precipitation of manganiferous oxide minerals or something. So I don't really know too much about it, but I think that's probably what that is. And I don't know. They wouldn't tell us where it was.
Yeah.
I think where I've seen that in some pretty old parts of the San Bernardino Mountains that I'm pretty sure Proterozoic in age, which is late Precambrian.
Okay.
So those are pretty old rocks. Those are not youngins. So they've had a lot of time to recrystallize and metamorphose, and I think they're cratonic basement rocks. Even though they don't have potassium feldspar in it, it's still the same. That part of the story I think is still correct. But I hope he learned something about his dinosaur pendant. That was a little weird. I am not a medical doctor.
Yeah, that was again, I'm also not a medical doctor, but it was still a little disconcerting to be like, okay, let's do this math. And
Oh yeah, it was kind of weird to do it right in front of him and just calculate whether or not he was at risk. But I think he was about 10% of the annual recommended radiation dose, which is weird because the idea that the feds tell us that there is a radiation dose that we can have, you know what I mean? Of course that's true because we get x-rays and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you start to think about it, you're like, how do they measure that? How do they know how much radiation you can get? You know, I don't know. So, but I'm glad I got that device. That I was there to see if the rocks were radioactive that they were bringing. I didn't expect to see somebody come in wearing a radioactive pendant, but I hope that was useful to him. I'm glad he doesn't run around wearing that, even though it's a low dose. Still, you know, I don't know. I don't want him wearing that. So
Yeah.
and he took it off, so that's good. Anyways, any last thoughts on those rocks?
Well, you know, this one reminds me that, you know, I tell my students that, you know, like don't go off your initial impressions necessarily, and this rock taught me that lesson again. So, you know, that's a fun one.
Beware when you use color. To be fair, I was using color and mineral associations and experience in the field, but it was incorrect. There's no other way around it, and that's okay. We'll be incorrect as a model to everyone. Who cares? We got it wrong. We got it right now. So,
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. If you'd like to be on the show, email us whatsmyrock@yahoo.com. I'm Dr. Abstract. This is Dylan. Thanks for watching, and happy geologizing, everyone.
Yeah, I've seen it all. That's why they call me a professional. I know you're proud of what you got, but this rock ain't worth diddly squat. I'm not saying that you'll never be wealthy, but this preoccupation doesn't seem healthy. Don't give up your day job, you better keep it a hobby on the weekend.